All right. I guess it's starting time. How are we doing in terms of people?
We got 16 on.
Okay. Did anybody on the live stream get the email that I sent with this link?
Yes, and type in your answers.
And the email would have only
yeah.
Okay, yeah, it would have only gone out to the registered runners. So okay, at least one person got it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would apologize for the last minute of these things, but obviously the people who are hearing this got it. So
we got 20 on.
Okay, cool. Well, then we can probably get started. All right, guys. So I guess we can introduce the 2023 Pinellas Trail Challenge. It's race week, and we are organizing things as best as we can with everything that is getting thrown our way, and of course our regular life pieces. So we're excited to run the race this year, see everybody's smiling faces that gradually start frowning throughout the day, put on a really cool free event that's accessible to everybody. That's the big thing that we're trying to keep this race is accessible to everybody. Let everybody have an opportunity to challenge themselves and go out and do something that is difficult, that they can feel cool about towing, as far as just towing the start line. So that said, today is your day to be able to ask all the questions that you might have. I think a few of you guys probably have been here several years, so you know what's going on. But feel free to ask questions if you have any. Ask questions if you think there's anything in general that you want to send or that you think might be useful to some other runners. And I ask for the people asking questions, our viewers. We also have, I think this is a good time to introduce ourselves. So myself, I'm the race director for the Pinellas Trail Challenge. I've been directing the race for, I think, 3 years or 4 years? 3 years. 3 years. Thank you, guys. And then Jeff over here is instrumental in helping organize and answer all the questions. Jeff, you want to introduce yourself?
I'm just on the board for the Pinellas Trail Challenge. This will be my 7th year running it. Running the race physically. This is my first ultra, and looking forward to it.
This was your first ultra when?
2015. What was the first year you did it?
I was 14.
You were 14. 2015 was my first ultra. That was my first run at it, and that was my first ultra also on that.
And so then we'll pass it on to Dave Whiteside here. Dave Whiteside was our 2021 winner, and our first local winner.
First Pinellas County winner, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, first Pinellas winner. Yeah. So like Jeff, this is my 7th year running this. I think I also ran it the first time in 2015. It was my 2nd ultra after the 6-hour Dodo Bay run. So
Sorry, Dave. And Dave, I think you've gone under 8 hours every year, right?
Yeah, I think I've been in the top 5 every year, and probably sub 7.5 hours every year. Last year was 2021. I did 6 hours 29 minutes. So,
which is the 3rd fastest time on that, and I was only 4 minutes behind. All right, and then we got Olivia. We don't have her on FaceTime, but we have her on speakerphone.
Hi, everyone.
And then when did you run it, Olivia?
So I also ran it in 2021. I was the DFL. It was my first ultra ever. It was actually my first running race ever. And I was in full survival mode after like mile 10. So.
But you got it done on that.
I got it.
All right. And in case you're wondering what DFL is, do you want to say it? I'm not allowed to curse.
DFL is dead fucking last.
Whoa.
Person to finish the race in the qualifying. And I'm very proud of my DFL.
There you go. There you go. All right. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Is that everybody?
Yep, that's everyone.
All right. So then, as far as the race goes, I mean, some of the general, it was just published today. We're going to start doing packet pickups tomorrow. So today wasn't a great day with the storm that came through. So we were working until the last minute that we could with St. Pete Running Company to see if they open, and they were trying to push for it. But ultimately, we made the decision that it was better not to encourage people to be driving out there on the streets. Some people are more affected than others, right? So then we are moving the packet pickup for St. Pete to tomorrow from 3 to 5 p.m. And then we will be closing it down promptly at 5 p.m. and then open it back up at 6 over in Tarpon Springs. So it's the same set of packets, right? So that's why we're going to have to close at 5 and then get those packets over to Tarpon. So then I'll be at 6 to 8 over at Brighter Days, which is your turnaround spot at mile 36. And then on Friday, we'll have one more packet pickup at Cafe Racer, which last year, if you came last year, it was at House of Beer or Hob Brewing Company. Cafe Racer is just right down the trail, like a block away. That same stretch of trail before you hit, what's that road? Is it Curlew? It's not Curlew. It's
I wasn't listening to what were you saying?
Cafe Racer.
Skinner Boulevard.
Okay, so right at the corner, pretty much of the trail and Skinner Boulevard. So you'll be able to pick up the packets there. And this year, one of our sponsors is offering up 20% for all of this year's runners at Curly's Beach Eats.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for something to eat, if you're coming into town and want to come pick up your packet and then looking for dinner, Curly's be an option where you can have 20% off. Just pick up your packet and we'll have a little discount coupon in your packet for that.
This is a short walk from packet pickup. So there's a parking garage right there in downtown. If you park there, it's an easy walk to Cafe Racer. Cafe Racer doesn't have much parking, and then it's an easy walk, almost like a triangle of the Pearlies, and then back to the parking garage. So we recommend parking in the parking garage.
As far as your packets go, so then if you make it on Friday in time for packet pickup, right, we're going to close down around 8 o'clock to let everybody go get some rest because it's going to be an early day on Saturday. If you can make it there on Friday, pick up your packets by Friday. If you can't, you can pick up before the race. So packet pickup's only going to be between 5:30 a.m. and 6:15. And we got to get everybody checked in. So if you can pick up your packet before, please do so. If not, inside the bag, you'll see some of the flyers from our sponsors. So Dunedin Women Runners helps put together one of the aid stations. Here's your Ace Air Conditioning. They're kind of based out of Central Florida. The Wellness Street is a big sponsor of ours, Dr. Carrie Graves. She's run a race multiple times. She's helped us out a whole lot, and she made she's a big part of how we're able to hold this race. Fit Life Foods. What else is in here? The Monroe Trail Ultra 50 miler. That is a really fast race that you can do in the cooler weather. It's also paved trail, so it's basically like a PTC,
The winter version.
with better weather conditions. And then this is your Pearly's 20% off coupon. So this is what you'll get. That is really great. So that's what you'll get, and that's what you'll use. Dave, this is actually your packet that I'm using.
What bib number is Dave?
Dave is bib number 1. So one of the things that we do is we seed the runners based off of number of finishes. So anybody who has the most amount of finishes will be seated towards the top. So this year we have 4 people who have 6 finishes. The only person in the world that has more finishes is Barbara Gay Neal, and she's not running it this year. So there's 4 of you with 6 finishes running this year. Dave, Jeff, Karen, and who's our 4th?
I'm trying to find it.
And one more person.
Thune.
That's right. Thune. So they're all going for finish number 7. And then if you got 4 finishes or 3 finishes, then you're also part of that top 21 bib numbers. So yeah, and that'll take us into race morning. We start promptly at 6:30 a.m. You've got 13 hours to finish the race. So we have cutoff right at 7:30 p.m. And that's because we need to be off the trail by sundown. So that is a hard cutoff. And then we'll be at the finish line waiting for you guys to bring it home. Finish line this year, just like last year, is at Weaver Park.
All right.
So with that, we can leave it up to questions.
All right, first question is from Nicole Perry. Should I anticipate flooding along the trail? So today we had anywhere along the coast was major flooding. But the water receded pretty fast, as quick as it came in and went back out. So I know there's a bridge in Dunedin going over Curlew Creek right around mile 26 and a half. And the water was almost over the bridge, but then I ran it this afternoon, and it was down. So I don't anticipate any water on the trail.
I mean, there's some spots on there that traditionally will just hold water.
Yeah. So even if it rains a little bit, you get some sections that are going to have water, but that's a relief for your calves. But there shouldn't be any water from this storm still left on the trail. Mile 25, which is by my house, had a tree down, but they should have it. You were still able to get around it pretty easily, and they should have that chopped up and gone by tomorrow. And then just little branches on the ground, same thing. They'll have the trail pretty much cleaned up. So I don't expect any water on the trail unless it rains that day.
Right. And right now we are expected to have some residual rain coming in after the storm. So I would just say, guys, be prepared. Be prepared for the worst. And if you get the best, then be happy with it. Right. But be prepared with some changes of socks, potentially changes of shoes. Keep your feet dry as best as you can. So yeah, be prepared for rain, be prepared for wet.
Yeah. Next question from Cindy. How many runners are starting? We have right now 238 on the starting list.
Yeah, so I'm guessing on race day we'll come closer to 200. Usually there's a good set of runners who will sign up and haven't unregistered, or some runners can't make it on race morning for one reason or another. So there's probably going to be about 200 or so of you guys towing the line, which is last year I think was our biggest year, and we had 161. So
yeah, we're still high.
It's going to be a big year.
Will brighter days be? Someone's asking about drop bags. So you want to?
Yeah. So then drop bags. You've got 3 spots for drop bags. Your first spot for drop bags will be at mile 13.5. That is the aid station with the Clever Training guys at the Seminole City Park. Your second aid station is going to be mile 25 and a half. So that's going to be in Dunedin over by the Boxcar. That's going to be Minnie's aid station. And your third spot for drop bags is going to be mile 36 over at Brighter Days. If you want anything for the finish line, you can absolutely drop it in one of the 2 earlier drop bags, and we'll try to have that over at the finish line. But we won't necessarily have it there by the time you get there. Some of you, it may happen. Some of you, it may not. If you want it there at the finish line and you want to put it at mile 13 and a half, likely that drop bag will make it to the finish line before the majority, if not all of you guys finish. But the mile 36 drop bag, it may take us some time to be able to go and get a volunteer to grab those and bring them back over to the finish line. And as far as drop bags, so an important thing, there's going to be a separate message sent out both on the Facebook and on the email. But drop bags need to be the size of, call it a grocery bag or smaller. And we would highly recommend it being water resistant. It may rain, and we are not going to be responsible for trying to cover up or keep your drop bags dry. We're just going to have a tarp out on the side of the trail. The volunteers will throw your drop bags out there. And so what you need to do with drop bags is you need to label them with the aid station mileage. So it's going to be aid station 13.5, aid station 25.5, or aid station 36. Those are the mile markers. You need to add your name and your bid number. And make the bid number as big as you can. The bigger it is, the easier it is to find. So label your drop bags, put that bid number on there. That's going to make it easier for us to find. But drop bags need to be the size of a grocery bag or smaller, right? There's a grocery bag size. Ziploc bags, like the 1 gallon Ziploc bags, those work pretty well. They come and they come with the ability to become sealable. Stuff like duffel bags, like larger duffel bags, that is not going to work. We're not going to have unlimited space in 2 cars to carry duffel bags for everybody. So I'm telling the volunteers who are collecting the drop bags, if the drop bag is larger than a grocery size bag, then they can't accept it, right? We just can't be responsible for carrying that much amount of stuff for 200 of you guys. So try to keep the drop bags as small and condensed as possible. We would appreciate it, but keep those bib number size as big as you can. All right. I would read the questions, but they're too small. Can't read that far.
Let's ask our DFL. Olivia, you still with us?
Sure.
All right. Let's ask her a question about her race. What does Joseph Fuller say? The worst,
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
the good, the bad, and the ugly about your race.
I feel like the good was just like everyone was so great. It was so fun getting to talk with people, get to know people. Like I got to run with different people, get to know them. Being outside all day, like it's just a really fun time. And probably like the first marathon is pretty smooth. Or it was for me, so that was the good part. And then probably those last 10 miles were the absolute worst. I remember just like trying to get to the next aid station, lying down, putting my feet up, eating a bunch of pickles, and trying to get to the next one. Yeah, that was kind of rough. It also started pouring towards the end of the day, so that was a little hard as well. So yeah, just pushing through those last 10 miles, I would say, was the worst.
Was there any key thing that helped you finish those last 10 miles?
I just kept remembering all the people like that told me that it was a crazy idea to do this race, and I wanted to tell them that I finished. And that was what pushed me to the end.
There you go.
Yeah, and then also a couple of the runners came back out and helped take me to the finish. So that was probably the thing that really did get me there.
Oh, it's a great community.
Yeah.
Trying to get everyone to the finish.
Did you have a crew?
No.
You did not, right?
Nope.
Would you have a crew?
If I did it again, yes, absolutely.
Oh yeah, we recommend crews.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to tell you how many I have in my crew this year. That right there. Dave, how about you? You agree with crews?
Yeah, I usually have one biker with me that rides along the course, and what I ask them to do is they will typically ride up to the intersections, press the button when you cross a road to try and get the lights to change so you don't have to slow down and wait. And then also depending on how aggressive you want to run the race, they can stop at the aid stations and refill your bottles, and you can just carry on going through. Or if you need a rest, you stop. But the crew helps you. But there's so many aid stations there, so many volunteers out on the course. I know there's going to be a couple of people with bikes and whatever. You can certainly do it crewless. but it's just a little easier to manage, if you have a crew and everything. So crews are recommended, but if you, self-crewed or screwed, as they say, it's still a very achievable race.
Yeah, and I always, whenever I have my crew out there, I say if you see a runner, offer them whatever you give to me, offer that to them too. So my crew always has extra ice, water, stuff like that. So don't be afraid to ask other crew. If you're going without a crew, don't be afraid of asking someone. Most of the time they're going to give you whatever they have. If they have ice, water, any of that. So it's a great thing. We're going to answer a couple more questions about crews. I'll go back to the ones up at the top, Brianna, but while we're on it, we're going to go down to Bella. Do most crews go, I'm thinking you're trying to say, go along with the runner and meet up every few miles? It's kind of, you'll have some crews that will be on a bike and rides along with the runner the whole time, and they can get them stuff whenever they need them. You'll have other crews that are meeting them every couple miles. There's the trail after Dunedin. It gets really easy for the crews to stop because the trail runs right along alternate 19, and you just follow up alternate 19. It's easy to pull up. I think I have my crew every 2 miles come on the last 10 miles coming in with just new waters, stuff like that. Or you can do what Dave and I do. We have a bike rider and we have a car. So we have someone, we have the two working together on that. So that's how we work on that. So you can get away with either. If you don't have a crew, I'm not saying you can't do it. You can definitely do it because there's been a ton of runners that can do it. And like I said, just feel, don't be afraid to ask others for help on that.
So as the race director, I cannot recommend a bike crew because having 200 bikers out on the Pinellas Trail along with 200 runners would be problematic and would eventually congest the trails up a bit much. But I understand some of you guys have the ability to have a friend on a bike that's riding along, and the Pinellas Trail is a public trail. We share it with everybody else. So if you've got a bike, if you got a friend on the bike on the trail, they are welcome to be on the trail. As far as crews go, we send out. So you're going to get here either tonight or tomorrow night. Once we have some time to finish it up. The runner guide, and you'll have a list of specific places that can be potential crew stops. So we've identified places along the trail that we know are safe to be able to go and park a car so that your crew can come out and support you on the trail. The important thing with crewing is that you want to make sure that your crew knows and understands they need to follow all of the laws and safety regulations naturally that come about, driving around in public property on the roads. You can't just park anywhere on the grass that you see fit. If you can find parking spots, please use those. If we find anybody, so I will have a course marshal out there on the course. And if we find anybody who's breaking laws, breaking rules, we will issue warnings to those crews. And then eventually, if they have to repeatedly tell you guys not to break city laws or city rules, then we will have to DNF you or pull you from the course. So please just abide by the typical laws. Just because we're running a race doesn't mean we get to do anything that we want. And so we have identified a lot of those spots where we feel that you can drive up to safely and you can find safe parking so that your crews can come over and support you properly, right? So you're going to receive that. If you have any questions, if you really need to use that information now because you're freaking out and it's really close to the race and you're a really organized person and you really want to be able to send that information out to your crews or your friends, let me know. Shoot us a message. I can send you out the crew package or the runner guide from last year. You guys on Facebook, you can have access to it there. Everybody who asks me through Ultra Sign Up, and because they don't have a Facebook or because that's the way that they're accessing information, I've been emailing out that old runner guide. So if you have those questions, let us know. Use that runner guide. Use those addresses and crew spots.
Also, proper etiquette on the trail. A lot of things have happened where we're kind of unsure what side of the trail runners should be on anymore. It used to be runners always stayed if you're heading north.
Okay, so the trail is clearly marked with where the runner person is and where the biker person is.
No, they changed it.
They did?
That's what I'm saying. We're in a whole transition period. They took out all those markers.
They did?
Yes. Yeah. So now there's one line going down the middle of the trail on North County. Oh. So it used to be if you're running north, you stay on the right side, and then heading south, you stay on the left side. So you were always on one side. Now they kind of changed it where they want people always to be on the right-hand side, but the trail's still designed for the original way. So it's a little confusing now. I get yelled at a lot by people when I'm out on the trail. So I would say when it's a split trail and you have a designated walker side, stay on that side. Stay to either all the way to the right or all the way to the left. Just be aware of your surroundings when on the trail.
Yeah, so we're sharing the trail with everybody. So just be courteous to people. And this year we may have maybe a few more honks or yells or shouts. But just pay attention to what's going on around you. Some people may be on different sides than years past. So just be aware. We haven't had an issue yet. Everybody seems to share the trail pretty well. And you'll have plenty of other people, so there'll be things to see as far as bikers, walkers, runners, some skateboarders. I guess we've seen some e-bikes now.
A ton of e-bikes out there.
So plenty to see on the course.
Yeah. And there's also some major intersections out there that you got to be careful at. And there's one in Seminole, which is a pretty dangerous intersection. You always recommend crossing with the light there. Coming into downtown Clearwater, there's an intersection where you cross over alternate 19. Skinner Boulevard in Dunedin, right in downtown. They now put a light there, so they recommend hitting that. Crossing, we recommend, it's now a light, so recommend crossing with the light on that. But if you hit the button, it will usually turn within 10 seconds on that.
So I'd like to pass it to the past winner and past DFL as far as like, what did you think about the running on the trail? Dave, I'll let you start first. Running on the trail and going through the intersections.
Yeah, again, I had the luxury of a biker, so I leveraged my crew to, go ahead and clear the way. There are a couple of places that do get busy, especially near the golf course in Dunedin. That's fairly busy, but it's manageable. I think the early sections, because it's early in the morning, there's less traffic. As you go through the day, there's a little more traffic. But just, again, it's a long race, so taking an extra couple of seconds and err on the side of safety and just wait for the light, wait for a gap. I definitely recommend that if you don't have a crew to go and manage that for you. Just stay safe out there.
How about you, Olivia? What did you think of all the crossings?
Yeah, I remember it pretty similarly. There wasn't much of the race where I was running by myself in the back of the pack, so it was helpful. Like I had other people around me, and we would always just wait for the lights. Try to run in place to not get too stiff. But yeah, I think as long as you wait, then it's pretty easy.
Cool.
I always say never assume a car's going to stop on that. Especially someone who runs the trail every single day, never assume a car's going to stop. Brianna, I know we talked about we're going to send out the thing about support crews. You're also asking about restroom locations. Just a reminder, there's no bathrooms at the start area. So just be prepared when you get there. After that, I don't know where the first public. I know there's one at Clever, the second aid station.
Yeah, so there's a few public bathrooms along the course. We haven't mapped them, so we can't tell you exactly where they're at. We know some of them in general, like Clever Aid Station has a bathroom over at Seminole City Park. So just ask them; they can take you over to it once you hit that aid station. I think along the way, around mile 15, is it? I think there's like a park that you'll see with the bathroom on your left-hand side as you're going down the trail. Taylor Park?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a bathroom there at Taylor Park. You'll hit a bathroom. What's that?
Mile 18.
Mile 18. Okay.
But there is one before Seminole Lake Park, but it's like right before it.
The Taylor Park one, I think you have to come off the trail pretty far, right?
Yeah.
So there's one there. There's one that comes up before that I always use. I think that's somewhere around mile 15.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the name of that park is.
It's just a small little park that has a bathroom.
Yeah. There's at Vinny's aid station, so in Dunedin, at 25 and a half. At the Boxcar, there's a
Public restroom.
Public bathrooms there. If they get filled up, right, they're public. They're right in the middle of downtown Dunedin. They may have other people using that bathroom. If that bathroom fills up, there's going to be another bathroom about a quarter mile or less down the road at Weaver Park, where the finish line is. There's public bathrooms at that park. So if you get to Dunedin and you see that those bathrooms are filled up and you don't want to wait, about a quarter mile down the road, you'll have another set of bathrooms.
Yeah, Weaver Park. And then after Weaver Park, it really goes all the way to Wall Springs before you hit another restroom. And then Park has some restrooms, but they're behind the building. I don't know, I don't know if Friday Days is... No. Okay. So there are public restrooms in downtown Tarpon. I've used them a couple times in the race on that, right over the main street. On that, someone asked if, I would probably say no on the Hilton at the start to use the bathroom.
So as a race official, we do not have given permission to use the Hilton bathrooms. I know a lot of people have gone there before in the past. So that's something that we can't just clear as part of the race to send 200 of you guys down there. So I would hope that I think a bunch of you guys get that. Just use the bathroom before you get down there. Right, there's going to be plenty of gas stations on your way down. Just time your day accordingly. Try to get a little bit extra time. If you need some extra time to be able to, before you use the bathroom, then just keep that in mind and wake up a little bit earlier. So yeah, get your bathroom stop in before you get down to the start line.
Matt Clapper wants to know, we already went over this, but remind them, is there another packet pickup at St. Pete Running Company?
Yes, so the St. Pete Running Company